Hi, everyone, and welcome to Huddle in Place with the Nine-Sided Circle. It is April 23rd, 2020, and we are on episode 29. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Noor in Los Angeles, along with...
the other one of your hosts, Mushtaq Ali in the Bay Area.
Yeah. I see you have a beautiful, spooky thunderstorm behind
Spooky
you.
thunderstorm, yes. It's ominous.
Yes, ominous is a perfect word for it.
Yep.
Where is that?
I think that might actually be San Francisco. That could be the Bay Bridge in the background. Or, yeah, it could be some other place. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
In any case, it's an awesome picture.
I like it.
Yeah. So it's been very hot in Los Angeles today. I think we're going to have a bit of a heat wave, but thankfully I live somewhere much cooler than where I used to live in Hollywood. So it's not 90 degrees for me, at least.
Yeah, and today was quite pleasant except for high winds. Winds were heavy.
Spooky California winds.
Mm-hmm.
So today we wanted to talk about transitions.
Yes.
In the sense that this is a time of massive transition for us all.
Yes, whether you realize it or not, it is very likely that nothing will ever be the same again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And here's the good news, or the bad news. We don't have any answers for you.
Nope, because frankly, we are in the same boat with you. I mean, this is a transition point for literally all of us, not only in America, but in the world today.
Yeah, the best we can come up with is hopefully some useful questions.
Yeah. Yep. So we wanted to start encouraging ourselves and everyone to really just like indulge in just wild brainstorming about what we think the next year or two might be like. And the reasoning for that is this is one way to develop questions. This is one way to start thinking ahead, getting creative about the problems that we will need to be solving in our own lives and in our collective life. And that's because this is a collective shock point. We talk a lot about shock points in our work as the Nine-Sided Circle, talking about the Enneagram process, which some of you may be familiar with if you're among our students. But we've done videos about that in the past, and I'm sure we can link to those below. But in essence, we are all in process right now, and we've hit a point where we're shocked. It's been a shock to the system to go through this pandemic experience.
Mm-hmm. And the shock is going to have long-standing consequences.
Yes, yeah. And not only are we going through collective shock experience, but lots and lots of individual shock experiences, lots and lots of individually oriented transition points in our lives. I know that's certainly true for me, and I assume it's true for you too, Mushtaq.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. So how do we cope with this? We imagine the future.
Yep.
So here's a question for you. If we are all required to wear face coverings when we leave the house for the next year, what's that going to look like for you?
Yeah. How can you, if that's something that we are expected to do, how could you make that a positive experience for yourself? How could you make that manageable for you and your family?
Yeah, one thing I do is look on the bright side and realize that everybody in government and big business who had all of these hopes for facial recognition software monitoring all of us, that's just gone down the drain.
I gotta admit, I do take a little bit of joy in that myself. Yeah.
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 And instead of telling people, you can't cover your face in public, whether they're Muslims or protesters or whatever, you get told you have to cover your face in public.
Right?
That's weird. Yeah.
There's an irony in this for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So how are you going to deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, how are you going to maintain close friendships? What's going to work for you? What's going to work for you and those you're in relationship with? Those are things to think about.
Yeah. Especially when you and your partner might be spending a lot more time together than you have in the past.
Right. Yeah.
You know, the divorce rate has gone way up since this started because people discover, oh, I can stand this person for 4 hours a day, but not 8.
Mm-hmm. Oh, more than that even these days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Almost 24 hours together minus
Yep.
sleep. I mean, that's a huge shift for a lot of folks. How do you cope with that? What needs to be done in order to either get through that or go your separate ways if that's what's calling you? You know, these are the transition points we're all going to be coping with.
Yep. And how do you alter your spiritual practice to cope with this, assuming that you have one? And if you don't have a spiritual practice, maybe this is a time to try one out. We aren't
Yep.
saying try arts, we're saying try any of them. They're all
Yeah.
good. Well, some of them are better than others. I don't recommend going with Offler the crocodile god.
No.
No.
Okay. Taking notes.
Yep. The sacrifices get a bit much after a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
I
you
mean,
know, all of the general main ones, they all work pretty good.
yeah, I mean, this is a time to find meaning in your own life and in your own transitions. And that is a challenge we really don't have a choice but to grapple with right now.
So, what are some other questions?
Another one, yeah, how about, how are you going to deal with not being able to go indulge in the entertainment we used to you know, to words. How are we going to deal with not having the sources of escapism we used to have? So
Yeah,
we're
that's
talking
right.
about
No movie
bars,
theaters, no bars,
clubs, yeah, movie theaters,
concerts.
amusement parks.
All of these things may be off the menu. Even if they're open, I'm not going to be going to any movie theaters until there's a vaccine
I
that I
mean,
know is
here's the
effective.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying we are going to have slow economic recovery, even if we open up tomorrow, because people like Mushtaq, and to some extent people like me, we aren't going to be willing to hop on, like, you know, rush off to Six Flags and go see a blockbuster movie. And that's a thing that we're going to have to grapple with in terms of its economic repercussions and its social repercussions.
Yep. Until there's a vaccine, my life just got a whole lot more narrow.
And that's the reality for many, many people. So how do we engage in a life where those things are not necessarily accessible to us? These are things that we have to discover, and it's easy to get overcome with a sense of loss and disappointment and fear. And we will feel those things too, but how do we navigate those feelings while also not getting stuck?
Yep. And these are things that we can't answer for you. I wish that we could. I wish I had all of the
Yeah.
answers. I
Yeah.
don't even have some of the answers. I have a few
And
of the answers.
this is why it's hard to talk about these things, because we are as much in a mode of discovering what all of this is as you are watching this video. So
Yeah, my hope is that turbans and Tunisian veils come back in style.
my hope is that Yeah, I would love for that as well, because I kind of miss wearing hijab and stuff for fun. But I also hope that we learn from the opportunity we've had to appreciate having clean air in LA and things like that. Like, how do we figure out how to move forward without completely losing the blessing of that? Can we do it? I don't know, but I would love for us to try somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what's got us deep in thought today. So, I'm sure we'll be touching on this again.
Yep. And that's pretty much what we got for you.
Yep.
So until next time, we'll
Until
see ya.
next time, yeah, stay healthy, look out for one another,
Be
do
sane.
what you can, stay sane, yes. And we will be back tomorrow. So take care.
Bye.